One of the highlights of Uganda's Martyrs' Day celebrations at the Catholic shrine was the decoration of the place, which left it glittering like gold. The altar was decorated in different colors, designed to show what youthful martyrs went through. So, who was behind this artistry? Stellah Mugera, the artist behind this work. We tracked her down to her workplace in Ntinda. Mugera, who holds 2 degrees and had been at work for over 12 years, says she felt unfulfilled and opted to grow her skills in decoration in 2017.
I did a little bit of research, dived in. I also knew I didn't want to do it part-time because when I do something, I do it fully. I knew I would not be able to do formal employment and this as a side hustle. So I did it fully. That means I registered the business properly, got a business license and started in 2017.
She says she could not afford to hide her talent and opted to showcase it in the workplace.
And I also found myself on every organizing committee for staff functions, the annual general meeting, the Christmas party, press conferences. Somehow Stellah would be on those committees. So I realized I had a knack for organizing things like that.
Mugera says in making her move, her biggest fear had been being able to afford rent. However, her church came in handy. It was helping the youth in her area start up their own businesses.
And I was able to get an office at St. Matia Mulumba in Old Kampala, paying a fraction of the rent, simply because as a young Catholic starting a business, and the church was willing to support initiatives like that.
After 6 months, Mugera landed on her breakthrough contract, an advertisement in the newspaper calling for artists to decorate the Sheraton Kampala Hotel in time for its 50th anniversary, or Sheraton at 50. Applying as a team, they organized themselves into a formidable move and they won the contract.
To use orchids. Orchids were some of the flowers that when former President Idi Amin was officially opening something at Sheraton had used. So we're trying to relate history of the client to what we were doing, and the event managers found that very thoughtful. And actually the Sheraton general manager up to now said that was something that stood out, that somebody did their research to understand who they were as a client and just didn't deliver a generic product. So that was our first big job, and it opened many doors for us.
Unlike many small-scale enterprises, they suffered through 2020.
COVID was a massive setback because we had really started picking momentum. And we had many clients, many of whom were even for weddings outside Uganda, in Kenya and in Tanzania. And people could not travel. We had received deposits to confirm those bookings.
However, in a move to avoid wasting a crisis, she used the lockdown to study an events course that has so far proved to be useful.
We organized for courses for myself and my business partner, and also for some of our florists. So I personally was able to attend training on floral design in the US and in South Africa to learn how to do garden style florals, not the current style that we have in Uganda, but something that feels more organic and more natural. And we're also able to train the staff.
Perchance, in 2023, Mugera and her friends made a pilgrimage to Namugongo as a petition to God to work through the Uganda Martyrs in bringing her life back to her business again.
Would I ever get a chance to use my flowers to animate for you? And I said that prayer, and of course I prayed for my business to grow.
Following her pilgrimage to Namugongo, she received a phone call from the chairperson of the organizing committee for the Chabazinga's wedding in Busoga. She was told she had been invited to bid for a contract to decorate the event.
And not even 2 months after that, we were called for the royal wedding.
Doubtful at first, but later gaining confidence, she embarked on preparations for this job, which also proved to be a turning point in her career.
And I remember, I think when I got the call or there was a message, my first thought was, like I'm being conned. I had to be called the second time to think, okay, this is genuine. The process started, and I feel like that's one of the testimonies that I have from 2023.
Mugera says she can't forget how she felt when she saw the Inebantu holding a bouquet that she had designed, complete with instructions she had put on it.
Humbling to see that she actually followed those instructions on how to fold it, to be able to do the royal wedding, to be chosen to do a royal wedding, when the last royal wedding was when I was a child.
Zinga's wedding, she shifted to Namugongo in 2024, started praying to the Uganda Martyrs while organizing a bouquet of flowers every Sunday for Mother Mary along with her prayer request. And this is how she finally secured a call from Lugazi Diocese organizers to be the decorator of the Uganda Martyrs Day event.
To be an opportunity. No sooner have I thought about it than I get a call from my parish priest saying, by the way, prepare your documents, prepare your company profile, prepare your CV. I want you to make a submission to do some work for decoration. So we prepare documents. The documents are submitted to the authorities of the church. They look through it and they ask for references, professional references for Martyrs Day. The ones that were at the altar, the ones were on the staircase leading to the altar, and for to set up the VVIP dining area for Martyrs Day.
Mugera says the joy of pulling off this event will stay with her for the rest of her life.
That was God answering my prayer that I mentioned in 2023 when I looked at the altar and felt like, God, when will I get a chance to animate for you through my flowers?
She has some advice for those seeking to break into businesses like hers.
Do more research regarding what do we need when we're starting. What's my niche? Sometimes it makes more sense to work with trusted service providers whom you can hire things from, negotiate with them, get annual rates than bringing in some of these things at the start because you have very little money to start with.